Hi everybody, in this video I receive Federico, a very prolific developer in the DeFi space. Welcome Federico.
Thanks for having me. My name is Federico. I've been working in a few different DeFi projects, specifically some maybe of the people watching may know, like especially if they invest in Uniswap. One is called Uniswap ROI, which is a calculator for DeFi investment, like the returns and to track your investments. Plus a few other projects. I found actually we connected with you, Julian, with your channel, and I used myself some of your video for learning more about the blockchain, especially at the beginning. So thanks for the material, and yeah, very excited to discuss with you today.
Cool. Yeah, I think I remember the first time you posted your link to Uniswap ROI, like maybe more than a year ago on the ETH Dev subreddit, and there was a lot of upvotes. And so can you remind us first what is Uniswap? Because I'm sure there are some people who watch this video and they don't even know what is Uniswap. So yeah, let's start from the beginning, and because your tool basically built on top of Uniswap, so people need to first understand Uniswap.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, Uniswap is a decentralized exchange. So the way it works is like user go to Uniswap to exchange typically Ethereum for a token, like Ethereum for a DAI or DAI for Ethereum. In doing that, they pay a fee, which is a 0.3% of what the value they swap. This fee then basically get transferred to the people that are supplying the liquidity. So everybody can really provide liquidity to Uniswap. You need to decide what token you want to pool liquidity for. For example, I don't know, DAI or Maker, and then you will put your DAI and Maker along with Ethereum into the pool. And then by doing that, you invest and you accumulated the fees that the user are paying, and so you create a return. And I mean, what I built is built on top of Uniswap. So if you, for all the people that are investing, they're asking, oh, but how is my investment performing? What's the return? All the different components. They can basically plug their Ethereum address in the tool that I made, and they can see charts, and they can see the ROI and track all the metrics about their investment, basically.
Oh, that's cool. And can you give us a quick demo? Can you share your screen?
Sure. Voila. So basically, this is Uniswap ROI. Well, that's the home page. You can log in if you don't have an account. It's easy to create. Like, you just get started. You put a username, which is anonymous. You can pick whatever you want, and then basically what you see is it's a page where you can essentially enter your Ethereum address. Like if you made any purchase, any investment in Uniswap. If you don't, there's an example you can load, or you can load any address on the blockchain and monitor. And then here you're gonna see all the address that you searched with their analysis. So for example, what you see here on the right is all the pools that with this address you invested in. And you see the current value of the investment. So some of these portfolio like wallets that I'm monitoring here, they have a sum invested in Uniswap. And you see like essentially like a few metrics which are really like the KPIs you can measure your investment with, like the ROI, like the overall ROI, and then what was caused by the price. So for example, Ethereum can go up, down, the token can go up, down, and so create for you a return or a loss, and what was caused specifically by Uniswap, right? And then from here, from your address, let's pick one, then you can click and then you can zoom in and say, okay, so with this address, I invested, for example, in the free pools, right? USDC, BAT, DAI. And then for each of the pool, you can, again, zoom in and see, okay, so here is the chart of your investment and what was, caused by Uniswap. So the yield of Uniswap, and which, by the way, has been, for example, this person invested for a year, about like half a year, and it got a pretty nice return. And what was the component of the price, plus a lot of other micro details and parameters. And Uniswap can be pretty complicated. So if you really want to understand the investment, you have all the metrics you need do that. And if you also want to, for example, download, I don't know, for taxes or something, you can export it in Excel, your investment, divestment. So it's makes it easier to check what you're doing, let's say. And you can visualize this if you're like a dollar investor, like most of us, or if you are like an Ethereum investor, you can toggle this and you can see everything in Ethereum if you want. So that's if you already invested. Like if you don't, so probably your audience, maybe they are not whatever, maybe they're not invested in Uniswap. Yeah. So what you can do from the homepage, you can check out the pool section, and here you can see the yield of different pools. So if you still have to, whatever you want to see, okay, where should I maybe invest? What's the sort of expected ROI? You can sort the pools. You can find the different pools, and you can see, okay, so here, there is certain return or, something that can be more profitable or less profitable, and you can understand maybe where to participate in the pool. So that's the idea.
So there are really two things that really impressed me. Is one, the number of feature that really many different things, like that must have took you a lot of time to build all of this. And second is the quality of the user interface. Have you hired any designer, or it's just you who did all of this?
Well, thank you. No, I built it myself. But by the way, myself, I'm not even a developer per se. I'm an engineer, but I'm more on the business side in a sense. Always been working in the business side. But like for me, like programming is more of a I wouldn't say hobby, but something I picked up by experience and more without a professional, let's say, education per se. But definitely, yeah. So it took some time. I would say, like for any DeFi project that maybe also your audience may be interested in considering, there's always like two components. And this is very specific to DeFi. So if you work on SaaS or B2B, it's a totally different thing. But if you work on DeFi or crypto, whatever, there is a financial component that takes a lot of time. I mean, to me, like understanding really Uniswap really well took me like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like of intense study and just modeling and Excel and whatever. Just to understand, okay, exactly how all these calculations should be made and how it works. And then obviously whatever, like more the coding, right? The front end and back end. That's another. So yeah, so this was launched in as you reminded in the summer last year. And then from then it was more of a constant adding of pieces, and so also based on what people said, that's what how it got it. But thanks for appreciating the.
Well, I can tell you that there are a lot of non-professional developers who would very much like to be able to do a project like this. So yeah, this is awesome. And I think actually if you do a DeFi project, this is quite important to do a nice front end, more so than for other projects in other industries, because really what is a DeFi app? This is mainly a front end, and then you have the smart contract, and I think the bar is quite high. Like if you see the different DeFi project, every time the UI is quite slick. So if you are wondering where you should put your focus, they're finally in making the front end really nice. And okay, so this is actually only one of your project, but you have others, right?
Yeah, so basically, I got pretty excited about DeFi now that I have a little bit of time. I'm sort of experimenting with the other ideas. Like Uniswap ROI, it's more of a platform where also I can interact with users, and maybe then I can suggest other products or other ideas and really work with them to make them happen. So one thing that I noticed that got piqued some people's interest is that from Uniswap ROI you can also pay, right? So it's free. The tool is free, but there are some paid plans with some extra features. And the interesting thing about this is that people can pay with MetaMask. So for example, if I click buy now, it creates a transaction in MetaMask and I can pay directly with this. And so some people like wanted to use this for their own project too. And so I created like a little store builder, which is called oneEat.me. And basically what allows you to do is to essentially create the same thing, but for your own store. So you're going to be able to create, like, for example, you can see here an example of what you can create. It's an editor, and you'll be able to create your own page similar to whatever about.me or something like that. But the difference is that you can also create a product or as many products you want, and the people can come and they can pay with MetaMask. So that's more a store builder. The idea why I built this is because DeFi is very cool. I like the investment aspects, but I would like it to see more connected to commerce and more connected to real applications. And so I think it's going to really become useful when businesses are built on the blockchain. They have payments on chain, and so you can do all sort of other financial, right, commercial loans and trade finance and all sort of useful finance application beyond just speculation. So that's one. The other one that I'm just finishing building is more of another, like, coming from personal need is I'm trying to do dollar cost averaging with my Ethereum and whatever other things that I'm buying. But it's very hard, right? So it's very hard to be consistent by the same amount all the time. So I created this. It's called DCA.land. And you're going to find also, if you check out the calculator, you're going to find a little banner pointing here. And basically the idea here is that you can automate your buying of Ethereum so far, but it's going to be working soon with other maybe pair to Bitcoin tokens. And you, for example, you can say, I want to convert 100 DAI into Ether once per week. And then, so it will estimate, like, this will have some cost. It will have a little fee. But then you basically are going to be able to start this stream of money. And the way it works is a smart contract will take 100 DAI every week from your wallet, put it on Uniswap, take back the Ethereum and put it back to your wallet. And so that's the little convenience thing that I think will maybe help some users to be more methodical and not buy in bulk just to see their value maybe going up or
down. So you mentioned that every week it will make a transaction. So I guess that requires some sort of relayer, like some external entity that regularly call function in a smart contract.
Yeah. So especially like for your audience is also very technical. I'm sure they're going to get this. So basically, the smart contract I built here it gets signed by the user. So if I'm doing this, I will need to unlock the DAI first and then start it. So I'm signing and that I'm allowing the smart contract every, if there's a week, it's every, whatever amount of seconds to get 100 DAI from my wallet and put it on Uniswap and send back the Ethereum. Now, to execute the contract in the future, you need a relayer to call the contract. And so the other part of the smart contract is allowing relayers to execute the transaction, and they will get back the gas that they spent, plus they will get back like a 0.2% fee. So the gas cost, for example, right now it's the price of gas is like 6 gigaway, and so basically it comes like right now it will come at 0.1% plus 0.2%. You basically spend 36 cents of DAI every week to get this thing going. So you have this two components. Right now, like, I'm also providing it as a relayer, but I also hopefully in the future will also other it's completely open to people to participate.
Actually, you have 3 DeFi projects. You really have a lot of ideas, and you being also a user of DeFi probably helps. And I wanted to ask you, let's say I'm a developer and I want to start building a lot of DeFi project. But personally, I always find this problem, which is there is always a part of me who is really interested in technology, and another part of me who is also interested in building product. And I think these two things are really at odds with each other. So you, who is a prolific builder, like, what's your mindset? How do you approach building project? Like, do you already have the same tech stack that you use for all your project, and you don't even try really to learn new tech, and you just reuse the same thing, for example?
Yeah, I'm honestly, maybe also because of my background, I'm pretty basic, because I think that at the end of the day, it's anything you build is is useless if it's not used. And so it's equally important to create something, but also in a sense build it fast and see fast if people like pay attention or they want to use it, right? If not, it's fine. You kill it and you move on. I mean, at least that's what that's more of the approach. So in terms of tech, the tech that I use is always, I mean, is what I know, which is probably a pretty basic stack. Um, and then I try to I try to prioritize, maybe as you said, so maybe a little bit UI, because ultimately a lot of the DeFi users, well, for one, they are very used to experience, Compound, like all these protocols that they have a very nice user interface, and also like make it, for example, responsive, right? So a lot of people come from mobile. And on the other side, I really trying to understand a little financial application, like for example, dollar cost averaging. Yes, I'm familiar with it. I've been doing it. A lot of people do it. I think it makes sense. So yeah, why not, right? Or other, store. I experience that people are paying with Ether. Maybe other people want to get paid with Ether, but it's I mean, it's a lot of experimentation. At this point in time, it's very, everything is very nascent. But I would like to see more application coming up, and also more monetization being made, because at the end of the day, I think a healthy system is when people get value, and people have received this value, they're open to pay, and it's it's all in equilibrium. So I think there is a lot of space to build stuff for your audience, your followers, and also build it in a way that has some monetization. Obviously it's very early, and so how much of this monetization will be is probably going to be very little. But I think also at this point in time, it's very important to position yourself, right? Position, create, and the other important thing is also create an audience. So if you're able to create one product that maybe gets some usership, right, and people really care about that, even like small, add-on or whatever informative product, then from there it can be very nice, because you have a initial group of people you can ask, you can brainstorm with. By the way, people in this space, they're super early adopters, they're very open. And then so it's really like a distribution platform for everything you build next.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the idea of building one's audience is so important. And yeah, and then like when you launch your next product, you can really leverage your current audience. Yeah. And so I'm gonna put the link of these different projects in the description of the video. So yeah, you guys try that, like play around, see if it can help you to manage your DeFi finance. And if people want to reach out to you, do you have like a Twitter handle or?
Sure. So they can find me at Federico Nitidi, my first last. Otherwise, like for example, in Uniswap ROI, if you guys want to check it out, there are a few button like let's connect. You can just point to my Telegram. If you guys have any question, get stuck anywhere, you can reach out directly, and I'll be happy to meet you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Federico. These are really cool project, and I think this is going to give really good inspiration for people who want to become blockchain developer and a DeFi maker. And good luck with all your projects. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Good luck. Talk soon. And thanks for having me again.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Ciao.